Hello everyone, I'm back. This is the Addicted Bookworms. Time for another book review. At the end of this book review, I'm going to kind of do a little rant about something that I watched today because, yes, my last full day before I go and see if I'm going to actually have a job, which is great. I got high hopes. I have high hopes. If not, I'll just try to apply for BJ's. Anyways, so we're doing a review of The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is the first book in the Bloodborne Bloodsworn trilogy. So, alright, so first of all, I got this book at the same time that I got Malice. I actually went to Barnes & Noble, and bought the book because, you go in there and it's right in front of you. And so it's about a group of people that I cannot pronounce any of their names. And it's this Norse-inspired world which really got my attention because I remember watching a review of this book, and when the moment they said it was a Norse-inspired fantasy world, I was like, I'm there. I'm there. I love Norse-inspired worlds. That's why I got that one other book that I have over there, because it's Norse-inspired. It has Norse, it's like the gods and things like that, and I'm like, give me my money. Please take my money. I want that book. I accidentally ended up getting two books, and then I donated the second copy, and found out they had a copy. It was weird. But anyways, so Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne follows a group of people. Once again, I cannot pronounce their names. I can't pronounce anybody's names in this book, except for like Freya and any other that sounds like a Norse god. There's a lot of blood, a lot of death, a lot of personal problems, just being human, and in a world that's not hospitable to you, that has no desire for you to actually survive anything. There's a lot of really great conversations, a lot of people just really, in my own personal opinion, reevaluating their life choices. Anyways, there's about 54 chapters in this book. It's not really super chunky, which is, good. I liked the ending of it when they come out of the door, and I did this woman with these golden wings. And the thing that really creeped me out about this woman, she had corpses hanging from her. If anyone has read the book, you know which one I'm talking about. Anyways, overall, I found the book to be engaging, and even though I'm not the queen of knowing if a plot is going too fast or going too slow, or is it just right, I base my experience on the enjoyment factor. Am I enjoying reading this book? And the answer is yes, I enjoyed reading this book. John Gwynne is one of my favorite high fantasy authors. I will literally get anything that has his name on it. Anyways, I gave this 5 stars on Storygraph. It is a really good book, and I highly, highly recommend it. Oh, by the way, because this is, I just let you know, there is no spice or smut in this book. Alright. The next book that I'm reading, I actually got this from the library, is The Hunger of the Gods. Dang, this is a badass cover. I have no idea what this book's about. I know it's the second book in the trilogy. That's all I know. I am actually going to be, if things work out well and I get this job, I will be getting this book to own, as well as Valiant. So yeah, it is thicker than the first book. Like I said, badass cover, loving it. This is like Frenier. I know I'm mispronouncing it. Yeah. God, that looks so badass. Oh yeah, his covers are always badass. I love them. Love them to death. Alright, so now that I have done the review of this wonderful pile of trees, I'm going to be doing a little rant about something I saw on YouTube that made me go, what the fuck? Okay, I don't quite understand that. There's a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of hurt fake feelings in this. So women that will not read books by male authors, what, I don't understand. Like, you're in a genre that was originally created by men, and you're upset that men do not write women the way that you think they should write women. I don't understand. I do not understand why. Why are we having this damn conversation about your freaking feelings being hurt because men are not drawing women the way you think they should draw them or write about them, or, you know. I'm sorry, but I'm a female. If I want to draw, or sorry, not draw, but if I want to write women as being a bunch of dumbasses, I will write women as being a bunch of dumbasses that need a man to rescue them. And you know, as a fantasy author, I may decide to do that just to piss people off because I want to do that. And I have a KDP account, so yeah, I can do that. It's kind of like this really sick kind of like desire to show that women authors don't have to make you happy. I literally don't care. I do not care if male authors write women in a way that you do not personally approve of. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care if they talk about modern day things, which I will say totally disrupts the flow of the story. I don't want to hear fantasy characters using the word racist, misogynist, what, I don't care. I don't want to hear those words coming out of my characters' mouths. Sorry, this is fantasy. It's not, you're not supposed to bring the real world into it. Though I know some people are going to probably comment about that, but you know, you don't understand about modern fantasy. I have been reading, okay, I'm going to say this. I have been around fantasy. I may not have read it, but I've been around fantasy since the 80s. Okay? Never, ever, in all, like, I remember that Mama would buy a 75-cent Sunday edition, or no, a 50-cent Friday edition. It was 50 cents. Yeah, people. Papers used to be 50 cents once upon a time. And Mama would go to the store and spend 50 cents to buy a paper. And she would be looking at what was coming out. And when she was done with it, I would actually take it and I would actually read the reviews of books that had come out. And they had a list of books that were coming out. So they would give like a synopsis of like the book and tell you what genre it's in. There would be a book reviewer for a paper that would go and write a 4-page review of one book. It was like the book he chose to review. Like, that was like he would get an advanced copy of a book, completed copy of the book, maybe like a week before, or maybe 2 weeks before he was supposed to publish the review in the paper, and he would read it, and he would tear it apart, and he would go and spend 4 pages telling you what he thought about the book. And then at the end of it, he would give it a star rating, and you would decide from that review if you want to buy the book. Not once did he come out and say, oh, the author like objectifies women, and so if you're a woman, you might be offended by this. I'd be like, I was a woman. I am a girl. I was a girl. I was a little girl, and I was reading a dang freaking review of a adult like a high fantasy book, like, and I would be like, cool. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. I would not give a shit if the author was objectifying women, because even when I was a teenager, I didn't care. I didn't care because, first of all, I didn't read high fantasy when I was a teenager. I read young adult fantasy. Yeah, the genre that's been taken over by adult women. I would read young adult fantasy, and I would generally read the books that had been out for quite some time, because I would get it from the library, which was free. And me being a 45-year-old woman, that people might say, well, you should care about this because you're an adult and you read fantasy. No, I don't. I don't, because I'm not a marshmallow. I'm not a marshmallow kid. I'm not a marshmallow adult. I'm not soft and, gooey, and my feelings get hurt every time someone says something that people might find offensive. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not offended by what you think is offensive. So, I don't care how male authors write women. And I don't like people trying to tell them how to properly write women. If you're an author, write a female character however the fuck you want to write that person. I don't care. I do these videos to show people that I just don't care. People are like, well, you cared enough to actually do this video. Yeah, because I'm 45 years old, this is my channel, I have the right to have an opinion. But there's a line between, like, saying I don't give a shit about how authors write female characters, write male characters, all that stuff, then complaining about, I was triggered by this book. I'm like, no. I should have a disclaimer on, I should have disclaimered. I'm going to put in the little bottom, that disclaimer, you probably will not like what I'm about to say. Just so that if you are not interested in the rant portion of this review, you will actually not watch the video. But, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. And that really, like, pisses me off about women. They go and they purposely say, oh, I'm not going to read this author because I don't like how he depicts women. It's a fantasy. When men wrote fantasy, they wrote it based on their own fantasies. Because generally, the people that bought fantasy were men. So they knew what men wanted in fantasy women. And I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. Just like I have no problem with a publishing house publishing books written by male authors for a male readership. I don't care. I don't care. Okay? Because here's the thing, if you don't make your views known, everyone's going to assume that every woman thinks this way. Every woman thinks the same way. And if you have a female, especially someone who is in the middle of writing 2 fantasy books, come out and say, as a fantasy reader, as a fantasy author, I don't care. I don't care if you are objectifying women, or I don't care if you give women big tits with a stupid piece of armor on. I don't care. Because this is your story. People, you have been doing this for a long time, so you've got a fan base that will up your sales. You got a publishing house that believes in what you're writing, because you got 20 million, you sell 20 million copies of a book in one day. And now I'm pretty sure, I've never encountered something like that, but I'm pretty sure they exist. And yeah, they're going to stay with an author that sells millions upon millions upon millions of copies of books. Just like I don't like a lot of modern day romantasy authors. Now, am I going to attack you for reading those books? Hell no, I'm not going to. I'm going to judge you on your taste, but I'm not going to tell you you can't do it. But that is the issue that I've got with people, with women in general. You get all fucking mad when a dude writes about women in such a way that your butt hurts. While me, I'm just spending my money for the ride. It's just like, I read John Glenn because I want the ride. I want the pleasure of meeting these characters and entering their world and all the stupid stuff they do. I don't care about if you objectify women. I don't. And people, stop tailoring your writing to make people happy. Just write the damn story, and I will be a happy woman. So yeah, I'm a Generation Xer. We just don't care. We don't care. We drank water out of a hose, okay? We were around lead paint, okay? We don't care. We don't care. I survived that, thank you very much. I survived lead paint and water out of a hose. Oh yes, and also, also rarely ever told to put my seatbelt on unless you were my brother and he had to do that. Because, you know, or I'm sorry, we were in a world where we didn't have child-proof locks. That's how come my brother was able to open the door when he was a little kid. Free. We had freaking cigarette machines that you didn't have to show proof of ID. Okay, we had that. But for people that want to know, that stopped after. I think it stopped. The last machine was there like in 2002. 2002. Anyways, yeah. So that is my review / rant because I needed to get that off my chest. I really did. Anyways, I will see you guys next time.